What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to Pyrocore. We have made it. I've listened to every single Linkin Park song and ranked all of them in each of the albums. So now I present you with the official album rankings. Let's dive straight in. Starting off with number 7, One More Light, with a power score of 0.8800. While this is my least favorite, it's not like it's bad or anything like that. Like all Linkin Park albums, the depth is incredible. This album was something new for Linkin Park. We heard them make music not like anything they've ever made before, and they did it well. There was some collaboration that went in, and they did that well too. Kiara, and you had Pusha T and Stormzy for one of the songs, which leads us to the notable songs. For this album, Good Goodbye and Talking to Myself are extremely important. Singing did amazing overall, but I won't give too much credit to the beats and instrumental because overall they were not the best. Not bad or anything though. Number 6, 1,000 Suns, and a power score of 0.8956. This album had the least amount of depth, which I'll get into later, but for now, this album specialized in uniqueness. Simply put, the songs all had interesting sounds that were very innovative. This album doesn't really feel like it's missing anything, but the instrumentals and beats could have been significantly better, considering this album was created right after 3 of some of the greatest albums on the planet was released, and those showcased some of the best beats ever. They really spoiled us with those first 3. Now, the depth is one of the problems, not because it's bad, but because it's relativity with the other albums. Last place in this album is pretty noticeably worse than the next, but all the pieces from 9 through 2 are pretty centered around a score of 89 or 90. And then you have a very notable song in The Catalyst, which is really good and a lot higher than the rest of the album. Number 5, The Hunting Party, power score of 0.9080. This album has very good consistency and depth, a lot of new sounds, and we do get to see some collaboration with the other artists, which tends to go well for Linkin Park, because when you combine the already perfect Linkin Park pieces with some new artists, they form some really nice songs. This album featured artists that are more Linkin Park style rather than One More Light, where we saw rappers like Pusha T and Stormzy. Speaking of One More Light, this album was the only other one where we really got to see them try new stuff. There are a few notable songs here, but one song boldly stands above the rest. The consistency of this album lies outside of this song, but the song Until It's Gone is absolutely necessary to give this album a superstar of a song. Number 4, Minutes to Midnight, power score being 0.9055. A bit less depth than the other albums, but this did have a lot of essential songs. It is much like the first 2 albums. I do feel it goes in a slightly different direction though. The singing is great, and this is a good album to truly showcase Bennington's talent, as if he hadn't proved enough already by the time they made this album. Now this whole album sounds vaguely similar, but the songs are only found here. Go listen to every song in the world. You won't hear stuff that's just like this and as good. Emotions definitely hit harder in this album too, with Giving Up and What I've Done for the whole song. And then Valentine's Day, beautiful second half. So overall, this album is definitely stronger emotion-wise. Number 3, the album Living Things, power score of 0.9118. Yes, it is a hot take to put this above Minutes to Midnight, but it is better. The depth here is extremely good, but more importantly, this album has the strongest chemistry when you listen to the songs back to back. More about the depth though, this is probably the second best album depth-wise, and every single song just sounds so good and has the chemistry of its own with the singing and the beats. Notable songs are going to be In My Remains, Burn It Down, Castle of Glass, I'll Be Gone, Powerless, and Lost in the Echo, which frankly, all of these sound good when listened to together. Probably the best Linkin Park songs when heard after one another. Number 2, we have Meteora, power score of 0.9218. This album has amazing depth with its song consistency all around. In fact, last place in this album is actually an 88 rating, which is just insane. The instrumentals on all these songs are extremely notable. In fact, this one has the best instrumental on the songs. The singing is similar to that of Hybrid Theory. I don't mean that the voice is the same, that's obvious. Just the way the songs are constructed singing-wise is similar. As you go in chronological order with the albums of these guys, they sound less and less like the first album. Notable songs are going to be Don't Stay, Faint, Breaking the Habit, Figure oh 09, Lying From You, From the Inside, and everyone's favorite, Numb. Number 1, Hybrid Theory, power score of 0.9192. Absolute greatest album on the planet. Also, the depth on here is amazing. I mean, the 8th best song on this album has a 93 rating. The singing is the best in this album, and the singing blends well with the beats. Each and every song is amazing. This sure is one hell of a debut album, and very iconic as well. Linkin Park has what I like to call a big three. Personally, they aren't my favorite three, but they are the three songs that literally everyone knows. You have In the End, Numb, and Crawling. Two of those belong to this album, which is insane if you ask me. I've also rated two songs I've ever heard at 100. With You is one of those songs, and it's the only Linkin Park song with that. Other notable songs include A Place for My Head, Runaway, Pushing Me Away, By Myself, and Forgotten. This album is absolutely stacked. This and Meteora made Linkin Park. Thank you guys so much for watching this. It's been amazing making content on Linkin Park, and hopefully I can make more. I'll make content on another band or artist in the meantime. Leave some comments on what you'd like to see. And don't forget to check out all the album rankings if you haven't just yet. Subscribe button is right below. Press that to support the channel. Help me make more content and better content. I will see you in the next one.